Do you think that if Jimmy G goes to the Super Bowl, lays a complete egg, and then never gets anywhere close to the Super Bowl or even the championship, for that matter, do you think people start seeing him as a stooge and a sellout?
Not a bad sellout.
That wasn't a bad sellout at all there. That was pretty good. People are going to think this is about Jared Goff, I think. This is going to be something that's going to be talked about for Jared Goff. Jared Goff takes a massive payday after leading the Rams to the Super Bowl. They lose one of their most important offensive linemen. They lose a couple other weapons that they couldn't have. The team ultimately suffers. Jimmy G's already been paid. That team has been very well built by John Lynch. I don't know if Jimmy G lays an egg here, by the way. We're watching highlights of Jimmy G yesterday on TV. His passing, which they have not called upon yet, and the route concepts and the plays that Kyle Shanahan can develop for your quarterback, they haven't had to use any of them in the last month, right? So I'm sure Kyle Shanahan, just like, who said it yesterday? Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia told us yesterday, Kyle Shanahan's probably sitting on some plays that he's had that he hasn't had to use in the last couple weeks that could, potentially open up the pass game if they just completely take out the rush game. And I'm talking obviously about the Niners offense. But for me, when you see Jimmy G play and you show the highlights, just the highlights of him passing, hey, he can throw the ball.
He can spin it.
And that is something that has been forgotten because he's only thrown it, 24 times or whatever in the last 2 games. Everybody's coming after him like, oh, is he just a quarterback who is overpaid and doesn't have to do much? It's like, if the run game's working, let's just utilize the run game. It's in every single aspect of any type of competitive anything. If something's working and you're going to get a win doing it, there's no reason not to just hammer that thing home and get a big W. The highlights of Jimmy G yesterday made me very scared because this could be a game where Jimmy G just pops off out of nowhere, just has like a 32 for 36 game. He seems to be a guy who steps up into the limelight, enjoys himself, just like Patrick Mahomes does. I think Jimmy G is a great quarterback, set up for the long haul, and his contract is set up for the Niners too, to continue to build around him. I don't think Jimmy G will fall off the earth after this game. I think they're only getting started, but I don't think he's going to lay an egg, and I hope Patrick Mahomes doesn't either because I bet a lot of money. A lot of money on them. Well, hello there. Utilize the promo code Pay the Bills and get $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. Now, back to the magic. I took 2 different spreads on them.
I mean, if you're rushing for 7.6 yards per carry, why would you throw the ball?
No, there's no rule that you have to throw it 25 times a game.
There's no reason to.
If you're getting 7.6 yards per pass, that is good.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're getting, by the way, if every single ball is a completion, guess what, running back? Just go ahead and pass protect us. We are throwing the ball every single time. If you're 186 yards before contact against that Packers team, which every single time I say that stat, Ty Schmidt almost pukes to himself. Why would you ever go away? And everybody's like, well, Jimmy G didn't have to do much. It's like, no, he didn't. You're 100% right. You know why? Because they built that team up in a beautiful fashion, even after paying him. So that's why I don't think he'll disappear. And I think he could pop off in his Super Bowl, and that kind of scares me.
They also knew. They knew, okay, very early it was apparent they can't stop this. We don't need to, end up throwing and have him make a mistake and throw a pick and change the momentum of this game. They cannot stop the run.
Imagine, Mostert or whatever talking to the offensive line in the huddle. He's just like, hey, boys, this is going to be a fun one today, isn't it? And the offensive line is just like, can't stop us. And I assume and I've never asked an offensive lineman, where they just feel like they're in a groove.
Oh, yeah.
Where I feel like they probably get in a zone. It's like whenever you're just picking up other professional athletes and just moving them wherever the hell you want to move them to, and then you got that freak George Kittle on the other side just picking up safeties and just dropping them on their back, and the running back is just skipping through holes. What a feeling that had to be in the NFC Championship to know that you're going to the Super Bowl. It had to be beautiful.